Okay, so step one, go grab your favorite beer, chuck a few in the fridge. This is about a 1 beer job, but some say it's a 2 beer, seeing as it's 2 wheels. Next, you're going to have to go get the old lady's car out of the garage because she insists on parking it in there, even though, as far as I'm concerned, it's just the bike's house. Then you're always going to have to clean up after the old lady's car. Then finally, you can bring your patient out into the shop floor. And about this time, you've earned your first beer, so crack that open, bring a 27mm socket and ratchet over to the back wheel and start ripping that thing off. It's pretty tight, it's about 90 foot-pounds, so don't be afraid to lean into it a little bit. Take the nut, washer, and axle block off. Next, while supporting and taking some of the weight off the wheel, give that axle a yank out. Should just slide right out of there. Next, give everything a good wipe down. I do a lot of sand riding, so mine just gets chocked full of gritty sand. Then what I like to do while the wheel's off is check your linkage bearings for play. With the wheel off, just giving the swing arm a lift up and down, you can feel any play and look for where it's coming from. I have a little bit coming out of one of my bearings in there, and I'll look into changing that later. Then go grab your new wheel. I'm putting my sand tire back on here to go back to the sand track. Shoehorn it in. You can spread open the brake pads if need be to help sliding in the rotor. Get your chain on. You can roll it backwards just like you would on a bicycle. Shove your axle through, but don't put it through all the way just yet. Let's get it started through the next hole, and then start your other side's axle block on. That way you do not have to relieve tension on the axle block whatsoever. Then while spinning the wheel in the opposite direction, I like to torque it up. Again, 90 foot-pounds for the rear wheel. Then 22mm wrench, loosen the axle nut off the front. Then loosen up the clamp bolts, the 4 pinch bolts, and you can tap the axle out. Now, reinstalling, I'm just using a screwdriver there to pry open the brake pads a little bit, like I did on the rear. Slide the axle through. Give it a few taps, and this has to be done in a specific order. So start the nut. I don't have an axle block holder again, so you tighten up that side of the clamp bolt, the right side, then tighten the axle nut to the final torque. It's 75 foot-pounds. Then loosen these back off. Then move your beer. Pull the bike off the stand, pump the brake up to build pressure again, and start cycling the forks. Make sure you want to slam them down as hard as you can, and that'll just get everything seated. The forks will be happy where they're riding on the axle. Then you can go ahead and tighten those up, and their final torque is 15 foot-pounds, and you're done.